We are going to look at two sectors. Infrastructure, starting on page 17. It's only about 4 pages, so it's not long. And then you have education from page 23. And also it's just a few pages. What I want you to do in your groups is to find a way in which to learn as much as you can about those sectors within 30 minutes. So you can share duties. One person can read one side and brief the group on the other side. Whichever way you decide to learn, I don't want to dictate that.
All the departments, there were allocations. But apparently, in regulation and development of construction industry, there was no allocation.
But you see,
and then the coming year, the following year,
there was 1 billion
allocation of 1
billion. 2016, 2017,
so that is
2017, 2018. Yeah, there was an allocation of 1 billion. So I was just trying to understand what informed the decision of the government to now give it $1 billion. That is where we are. That is the question I asked. If somebody understands, because for me, and I'm also trying to look at this very department in terms of is it the 4 pillars that the national government is currently talking about?
The big 4.
The big 4. Housing is part of it. So if you're looking at it, it was 1 billion. Maybe in the next budget it's going to be even 20.
why?
I'm just saying.
And what is wrong if it is 20?
Everything else could be wrong, because if it is given 20 and other departments could be missing, other key sectors.
You see, my thinking is this: I'm not justifying the allocations, but my interest basically is to derivate, because then there must be formulas of calculating why this has to be this way. And there must be also what are the links that probably puts that. Then the issue of the shilling. At what point do we have the shilling being strong? So to me, those are factors. And of course, okay, that is positive factors, but there could also be other factors.
Then why was it allocated the following year?
Yes.
The reason is, one of the things that the national has not done, or the national government has not done well, however much they have transferred functions, but they don't follow it.
Yes, probably.
Are you understanding? They have transferred functions, but they've not transferred
the funds.
Resources.
Yes.
So probably the first round of allocation, the assumption was money to 40 billion. And that is why so many of these governors were like, we put affordable houses, which they never put. The national government have done very well in terms of purporting to have transferred what? Functions. But they've not transferred what? Resources. So me, my thinking is this. I have two school of thoughts. First, and this is a political thought anyway, the first 5 years people were putting up structures. That's very political. People were putting structures to be functional. And probably that is why they never did what? They never put money for that.
When you look at the State Department for Petroleum, then we have the State Department for Energy. Actually, these two sectors that are started duplicating themselves.
So what in it?
Because when you look at this one, exploration and distribution of oil and gases, then you look at the other one up there, general administration, planning and support services, given 1 billion. Exploration of oil and gases given 5 billion. Could these two things be merged into one? That's an all-encompassing. Power generation is there. That is exploration. If we use wind energy, other sources of energy. So at least maybe they will give us details in this, but you have a bit of duplication across in these two.
You see, education is the informant to infrastructure. Because if you don't have any qualified personnel, you cannot meet your infrastructure threshold. Because infrastructure fetches a lot of money in the case of Kenya now, because we only import experts. And in a nutshell, we end up having no people in such a fields just because we lack to give enough money and expose rare causes.
Kama saisi hapa for example, si kila mtu wako na kazi hapa. Ni watu wachache wako na kazi. Elimu hatuna. Na wengi wako na elimu. Na wengi wako na elimu. So mimi ningependa watu watengenezewe kazi kwanza, tutengeneze kwanza kazi, tutengeneze industries, tufanye nini, alafu tuandike, ndio imotivate hata wale wengine wenye wanasoma kusoma zaidi. Ndio tufungue area yetu kama barabara, tu connect na Sudan, kwa sababu si kila mtu amesoma. Kuna wale watu ambao wanafanya biashara. Bila hiyo biashara, huyo mtu kwake haitakula. Bila hiyo biashara ama bila barabara nzuri, sisi hatutapata mboga hapa. So ni heri tutengeneze kazi kwanza, ndio turudi kwa elimu.
According to me, will be education 40% and infrastructure 60%. Why? Because most of the infrastructure, that is most of the projects that were under infrastructure came to an end, but you see we need to develop the infrastructure in place for extractives, for early oil production. So that alone enables us to maintain some allocations, and in education it was 39, we increased by 1% to take at least to bridge, that is the free secondary education.
For me, I would take education 65%. Then I would give infrastructure 35%. Then for 65%, sometimes if you look at education, is sometimes economic based or human. It requires a lot of human resource, which requires a lot of resources.
Yes.
On the other side of, and again, the moment we educate people, either through higher education, TVET and all that, people become more empowered. People will start their own businesses. The government will get taxes from these same people who are educated. They will use now these tax to build the infrastructure and economic growth.
Some sectors can provide money for itself, like the petroleum. It will sell its petrol and it will get its money from elsewhere. So I tend to think education should be given more. In this case, 70. And then the other one will get 30.
I want to look at education in this aspect. Education needs to be research. With education, there is also service delivery. That is, salaries will be given. There is administration and operations. And we are looking at how much, what proportion should be given into research, salaries, administration and operations. And then we are looking at energy, infrastructure and ICT, which supports all of this. I'm looking at, when I look at infrastructure and energy, I'm looking at roads, I'm looking at buildings, I'm looking at power, I'm looking at everything that supports the people who will be taking what? Part in the research. So I would say if I was to give 70, then I will be taking 70 to energy and infrastructure. That is where my argument is. Because we're looking at how supportive. We need, yes, we do need, education needs an allocation. According to me, the allocation that they need is will be consumed, and it's on salaries and it's on research. And it's all on administration and operations. But then again, when we're looking at roads, how much of it do we have? We need to access either the health facilities, we need to access educational centers, we also need to have more buildings, we also need to build more ICT hubs, we also need to have more power supplied into these areas.
Each group had its own discussion and came up with their own agreement and their own 3 reasons as to why that agreement was what was the best according to their discussion. So number one, I hope all groups did that, or at least got to some good level. Number two, each representative from each group will come and present to us their division, how they shared the money between the two sectors, and their 3 reasons.
Social protection, we have given it 40%, and governance, justice, law and order, we have given it 60%. Reason number one as to why we give the governance 60% is because in governance there are a lot of departments compared to social, whereby the governance sector requires or does a lot of perils. Reason number two is that the government has has to invest more in governance and security for the social protection culture and recreation to improve. One, if you do not have security, even in your day-to-day life, you cannot invest. That's a fact. If you do not have security, you cannot send your children to school. If you do not have security, you cannot do anything that a normal human being can do to better his life.
Social protection, culture and recreation, we allocated 51%. Governance, justice, law and order, 49%. If sports, arts and the library services would be promoted, crime will reduce, thus need a few policemen, prisons and courts. Emerging issues for social protection, if there were more funds for children and gender empowerment, then it would be better.
Yes, for social protection, culture and recreation, governance, justice, law and order, we also gave 50. Reason number one was that the two sectors, apart from funding from the budget, can have self-funding. Okay. The two sectors, apart from funding from the budget, can have self-funding. For example, SPCR, talent. On talent, we felt that talent is self-paying, and if you get to that level where your talent goes international, you can give back to the society, and that is a source of funding. And then the other organizations, NGOs, have also invested on that sector, and other sectors within the government. The second reason, the other department, which is the GJLO, also has funding from AIAs. For example, in the correctional facilities, these guys make antiques, they make furniture, they sell them. I believe these products from the prisons, that money should come back and help these various departments. The second reason was the two sectors are interwoven, hence the success from one sector ensures the success of the other. And the third reason is that the society or taxpayers are if they are socially protected, the rule of law will be upheld, vices curbed, and they need to allocate more on GJLO will lack relevance.
We rank and gave 60% to GJLO and 40% to social protection, culture and recreation. We give more percentages on GLO than social protection because most of the problems that sector of social protection, culture and recreational is undergoing or experiencing needed to be solved by GJLO because social protection huwa inadili na maneno kaza hizi ya drought, orphans, so kitambo wa funds security ambayo inadiliana na maneno ambayo iko under GJLO, kitambo wa fund more funds there, so itasaidia kuwa na nguvu ambayo itazuia pia maadui kuja kuua watu ambao wako innocent ambayo inasababisha kitu ka refugees. So GJLO add better performance, as we see on this list. So add a better performance of 92% as compared to social protection, which had 89%.
And I'm not going to judge their locations. I want you, from your own judgment, because all of you are filling in, and a couple of us can speak to this so that we can decide where we think our weight lies. From the reasons that have been given and the different weights that you've given those reasons, what would you say is the most convincing of reasons that you have here and why? So that we can start seeing which option seems to have been the most supported by the most reasonable, the most adequate reasoning. Forget your group, so you don't have to stick to even if you are in group 2, you can support group 3. I promise you I'll protect you once you get.
Yes. The issues with absorption rate and performance of GJ law. So I took this as an adequate issue because GJ law has got a lot of issues to do with justice and trust. So if they performed with 92% the way we rated it, and the other one at 89%, so I saw that this one is a good reason to give it a priority.
The mainstream justice, I think it was mentioned by group 3.
Group 3, yes.
Yeah, mainstream justice. I also considered it adequate because the scope of crime, and then the how do you call it? The criminal justice system process. All those issues related to crime, including corruption and all those things. And you have seen all those factors in terms of, and when you talk about the mainstream justice and our criminal justice system include correctional facilities, includes the High Court, include the commissions on anti-corruption, then it includes so many things. So I thought that this one should be, I considered it adequate, and the fact that the group 3 mentioned it, I thought that is how I would grade it.
Good. So what I'm hearing, you are saying that
In the reason number 1, you realize that GJLO has many sensitive areas that have to be catered for. If you realize, if you are keen in the elections in the past, in 2017, activities pertaining elections, some cases, such as those of persons with disabilities in courts, that were ever presented in courts, were never attended to just for lack of lawyers. When we went to find out what was the reason for lawyers not attending this from the headquarters, they said they didn't have funds to go all over to attend this. So this justifies the 60% allocation, such that such sensitive organs, as he has stated, the officer has stated, can be supported to perform their work. Reason number 2.
It was a good discovery. There was a good discovery by group 4 in terms of seeing other opportunities for collecting revenue. Let me put it so. But now, the biggest question I have, and that makes me wonder why they give the governance bit of it 50%. I think the 50-50 is being clever, being good. nice, you know, so that if there is any...
Being diplomatic.
It is really diplomatic, playing safe, I don't know. Look at this thing critically. For the past, we promulgated the Constitution on 28th August 2010, and everyone was happy about the Constitution of Kenya. Then we started with somebody called Justice, did we start with Justice Rengera as the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Caesar? 2.5 million per month, very good allowances, no case was prosecuted. We tried PLO Lumumba with these theatrics of karate, nothing happened. Then sijui siku hizi ni nani yuko huko, that priest of mine, Wabukala, struggling with things, he's not even understanding where he's going and where he's coming from. Even the name ikabadilishwa. So my point is this country can only be helped if we become honest. And that is why in group 2 we were saying, why don't we even call for a referendum and disband all these things? Because we have already created another problem in the name of administrative secretary in the cabinet. That is money we are going to spend. Look at that. While hapa mahali tuko saa hii, I am sure at least somebody has received an SMS kwamba kuna fee inatakikana shuleni. So why are we creating more posts in the name of placing people who are political losers so that they can benefit themselves? So maybe if today we decided as Kenyans to say the truth, and the truth is, if Kithure Kindiki is saying that let's not bring development to opposition area, let's also not pay taxes. So that we can reason together on the table. So we will not be creating jobs for people. Area chiefs are defiling children, and this is a common fact. Why do we still want to protect them? Let's even remove, I'm seeing some point here about there will be no policemen if what happens. When taxpayers have social security, maybe we need to define social security with the taxpayers so that we don't need policemen. In Kenya, we must have policemen, but we need policemen who are disciplined. In fact, I was in a program on police reforms and we were saying, why don't we give the police house allowances? So that waishi na sisi pule ghetto, ambapo nikichapu hata yeye atandikwe na yeye pia feel venye iko. Si ati kuwa exclude elsewhere ati that is police quarters. Recently manyumba zimebomoka. But look at the amount of money put in the interior. Look at that budget, the amount of money put in the interior, which you cannot even account for. Nobody even gives a report out of it. So to me, these are questions that we need to ask very honestly and push this agenda so that we can create these reforms.
126 billion.
So is your argument, George, just to...
I want to ask Group 4 to come around. We can work together in Group 2.
I mean, GJLO, and then the social protection. You know, unlike the first department has got, I mean, the mandate entitled into that particular department it's not that compressed and like the one that is entailed in the social protection, because basically what comes about with the aspect of social protection, there's a kind of service delivered to a common mwananchi, and therefore there's a feeling that will impact the life of the common man on the ground. And that is basically the reason as to why we decided to give a budget allocation of 70%. And like things that have just been mentioned that are happening in the first department, where there are some huge chunks of money that are allocated to that particular department. But now when you look at in terms of delivery, basically it's something that really they cannot comprehend based on the budget that they are given. And that's why we decided to reduce that particular budget and then increase the budget in the other department. Thank you.
To all, nobody is talking, like, it's not getting much support, but it is the most realistic percentage there. I think saying that Group 4 could be close with the Group 3 and 2, it's far and wide. I think Group 4 was closer to Group 1, and realistically, if we check it, you find that 50-50 is not more realistic, because there must be some weight somewhere. And I see Group 1 with 45 and 55%, I think it looks more realistic than giving that higher allocation and so low allocation on group 3 and 4. Group 3 and 2, thank you.
Something which group 1 mentioned but it's not written there. That maybe when government puts a lot of money to social protection, culture and reaction sectors, it can help a lot than putting a lot of money in justice, whatever. When a good budget is put in social protection, and for example, the Department of Sport used to bring people together, and people learn their culture, people appreciate one another. But by that time, these criminal activities, they are very minimized. Since government declined from putting a lot of money in this social protection, and so government decided to form a lot of inquiry. Why do we form inquiry? We form inquiry because of a lot of criminal activities, which can be minimized on the other side.
Critical functions, spending needs than SPCR. Reasons are that if you look at all MDAs under GJLO, you will find that they are much important as compared with the MDAs under social protection. Because most of these MDAs under social protection, you will find that they need ethics. They actually don't need much of impact or action carrying, but they are of social well-being, of living and carrying. At the end of the day, we just cater for some. So there is no need of pumping money under these. Like for sports, we have it here, but you will find that we can do sports even without funding them. There are modalities of using even other things. But you will find that under governance, justice, law and order, these are very critical. You cannot just overtake them or overlook them, that they will carry their order of the day like that. But under social, others are not even important as such. Like library services, you will find that you can have a library and nobody will go there. So we need that money on the other side.
In the number of functions and spending needs in GJLO to warrant more allocation than SPCR. As to their second function, we argue in terms of point 4 there, in terms of priorities. Much on the social, those who argue on the social are rather, I would call them secondary needs. They're primary needs. Security and other things are primary needs that if there would also guarantee a proper social fabric, that whatever they say here. So there are those things that comes first, then there are the ones that come second. So if we have proper security, we have good governance, of course the social fabric will be good. So that's my argument. Okay. Yeah.
At the deliberative stage, I remember there were instances where there was a lot of counter-reasoning and counter-debating, where people were trying to give justifications for allocating certain amount of money to a project. And these are the kind of things that we need to expect in a deliberative session.
Think of the infrastructure taking place in Kenya, like the Thika Super Highway. We are borrowing all the step from cracks from Kenya. If we could have educated people in Kenya, we could have done that. So what generally needs is that the net profit from that work is going to China instead of coming to our country. Go to Kenyatta National Hospital. We're having those machines for treating our citizens. We don't have those experts. The machines are there. Nobody is able to work on them because we are not having the tools. And those tools we can require is that knowledge, that education. So as the BBB says that mambo mwanzo wa kila kitu ni knowledge. Then from knowledge,
if I can remember, since time we were born, we've been educating people. I mean, how many people have degrees? How many people have PhDs? But they're motorbikes. But they are outside their family. This raises a lot of concerns as to why, as a country, we are hiring experts from outside. Why? Because we are not fast in embracing our own. That is what we are not doing. We are investing on an education system that is currently not helping us. Why do we have a large group of people coming out of school and they don't want out of employment? Two, they don't have a source of income that you can say that this one is what I went to school to do.
When you say we are educating and we are having graduates who are not employed, it pinches me. When I am seeing Chinese doing some work that they're supposed to be doing. So first of all, you have to address that. Why are we inviting experts to our country to do the work that we can be able to do? That the answer is we don't have those expertise. We have running people, but not expertise or people with expertise that is required. So we have to arcade our institutions so that they can provide the quality of workmanship that is required in our country. We don't have those people with the right education. And I would, when you see what is happening in our system, and especially the budgeting which is done here, whereby you get those young people who are supposed to be earning a lot of, who are supposed to be employed, they are given a very small proportion of the budget, and the bigger budget is being given to us, teachers, TSC, what. Na vijana whom we should be thinking about are getting the smallest portion. These vijana should be trained, not trained to become employees, but to be trained to become managers of their businesses or people who will create employment, not to be employed. That's where our country has failed. And I'm saying and still saying that we need more money in education and be focused as a country towards what we demand and what we require, so that we can utilize our young people and our expatriates in all the areas of our operations.
One, we've talked so well. We've talked of what we are supposed to do. But now, the situation is, the system that is producing people who don't have a C+ in mathematics is the same. You want us to put all our money in. So, for now, there's no point in this, whatever I saw, whereby we will change our tactics in approaching education. It's the same system that is producing half-baked that we want us to put all our money there. I want to bring you back a little bit. Garissa Road was built by NYS some times back. NYS guys are trained for 6 months. And they built that road, and it's one of the best roads in the country. So we don't need to put 70% in education so that we produce great minds. We just need to be organized.
Let me tell you something that worries me most. Nikki Berit, made in China, which is being sold here in Kenya. It's a car. Ile vipongezo tunakunywa maji nazo kwa nyumbani kwetu. Oh, they are all made from China. Why?
So the point, before you see,
so if we were educated enough, and when we mean about education, we should expand that. So we not only going to class and coming out of the class. Yeah, we need to. Yeah, there's something that we are missing that makes us import those from China. If we would have been learned people with understanding, people who knows how things are being made, we would have stopped buying from China and start making them in Kenya.
The varieties are not made in Kenya because of education. I'll tell you, you are absolutely wrong. Royco moved from Kenya to Egypt because one, there's no infrastructure. Point number two, The energy is very high, they are not able to operate profitably. That is why we don't have those plastics in Kenya because of the cost of energy and infrastructure, not education.
Kama sahizi hapa for example, si kila mtu wako na kazi hapa. Ni watu wachache wako na kazi.
Elimu hatuna.
Na wengi wako na elimu. Na wengi wako na elimu. So mimi ningependa watu watengenezewe kazi kwanza, tutengeneze kwanza kazi, tutengeneze industries, tufanye nini, alafu tuandike, ndio imotivate hata wale wengine wenye wanasoma kusoma zaidi. Ndio tufungue area yetu kama barabara, tu connect na Sudan, kwa sababu si kila mtu amesoma. Kuna wale watu ambao wanafanya biashara. Bila hiyo biashara, huyo mtu kwake haitakula. Bila hiyo biashara ama bila barabara nzuri, sisi hatutapata mboga hapa. So ni eri tutengeneze kazi kwanza, ndio turudi kwa elimu.
Those jobs long life jobs or long term or short lived kind of jobs, because hatuwezi maliza pesa yote kwa jobs ambayo inakreatiwa for 2 months or 2 weeks inaisha, and then unabaki hapo hujasoma hujafaidika. So
hii job unapata job without a qualification, and that qualification inatokana na masomo. Then ile majobu unaongea ni ile ya kupiga bush, ile hii makasho ndio unaongea, si ile jobs ya maana ambaye masomo inaweza leta.
Pengine hao wame squeeze minds yao kwa kazi, lakini hiyo haikuwa lengo langu. Ilikuwa ni part ya kuexplain watu waelewe. Mostly what I was talking about was development. Development considering the fact that si kila mtu amesoma, na hatuwezi angalia wasomi peke yake na elimu, na kuna wale mama zetu na baba zetu ambao wanategemea mboga, wanategemea biashara kando ya hiyo barabara ambayo inajengwa. Kwa sababu barabara ikipitia kando na kwenu ama kando na mahali wewe unafanya, obvious wewe utauza mboga hapo kando na mtakula. Huwezi pata elimu bila pesa. Huwezi tegemea serikali kwa sababu ya CDF, kwa sababu haiwezi kukupatia pesa yote. I think my argument was to open the area to any other parts of the country.
We are not taking keen interest in investing in education so that we can have now qualified people who can differentiate between which patients need an operation and which one doesn't. That is one. The other thing, if you look at the current conversation even within our cities, even here in Homa Bay, I am sure the people who did not speak for 4 years. Why? Because how can they communicate and discuss what we already discussed now? So it must be mandatory. We must put more money, like 70% in education, and that will support infrastructure again, and it will also support the ICT part. Then when I looked at the energy part of it, there is a lot of duplication of costs. And probably it's because people want to create jobs for their friends. So why don't we just put something that is very clear and invest in that? Then we put more money and ensure that the main thing that we can talk about is how to empower these people to move to the next level.
Statistics ask it that 75% of young people released from universities and other tertiary institutions not employed. That means only 25% of young people are employed in this country. The rest of the unemployed young people are in the informal sector. I'm so much concerned about this. If you look at education and the energy sectors, the energy sector absorbs a lot of young people because it has a lot of informal sectors. A lot of young people who are released from the learning institutions are directly absorbed in this other department or in this other sector.